Do you find it strange that suddenly you've got both major parties extolling the virtue of coal mining and coal-fired electricity?
I absolutely do. Yes, I do. I do. We all love coal at the moment in the Hunter Valley.
So tell me why the shooters, farmers and fishers love coal more than the others.
Well, we've always unapologetically been pro-coal, and we'll actually do that. We'll follow it up and we'll take some action. We won't be putting our energy into green energy. We'll certainly be putting it into pro-coal. So, and understanding what that means for the jobs of the hunter, understanding what that means for our people, and understanding the gaps also in that skills department. If we start to decline in the coal market, how do we upskill our people as well? So completely understanding the coal industry, but also understanding the needs around the people that work in the coal industry, so the employment and the jobs.
Yeah, now the point here is that you've worked in the industry, haven't you? And in areas associated with the industry. And of course, it's not only people involved directly in coal mining in somewhere like the Upper Hunter who actually are reliant on that industry more broadly.
You're exactly right. I worked in in the coal industry as a nurse in occupational health. So looking after the coal miners under the regulation and the mandatory testing that is involved in coal mining. So I had 17 years I worked in that industry. So absolutely a lot of our industries and even our towns and our communities rely on coal. We are coal communities, particularly Muswellbrook and Singleton.
Now, this is why this is such a fascinating by-election for the state and for the nation, because this is such a divisive issue. Now, Labor, state and federally, always talking about clean energy and renewable energy. Suddenly, they're running a coal miner and talking up coal. The coalition government in New South Wales has been one of the greenest governments pushing for net zero by 2050. Only last week, they had Malcolm Turnbull advising them on energy policies. But suddenly, to win the seat, they're changing their messages. Doesn't this just make voters a little bit cynical?
Look, I probably would agree that you would have to be wondering where it's all coming from, and certainly, understanding that we've always backed coal. It's nothing new for us. So where's this coming from? Is it a true voice of the Nationals and the Labor, or is it just to win the election? I'm just not sure.
Now, of course, the New South Wales Parliament is very finely balanced. If you were to win the seat, they would be in minority government. The shooters, fishers and farmers would be important in the lower house as well as the upper house. What are your key priority objectives? What would be your number one aim to deliver out of government in New South Wales?
It would be to deliver what we've been missing out on for so very long. The Hunter should be paved in marble. And we're not. We still don't have the resources we need. We don't have the infrastructure we need. We don't have the services we need. So certainly pushing what we absolutely have been missing out on, and that we should get that. And that's the Upper Hunter should be thriving, not looking for where we get the money from.
You went very close to winning the election last time, and that is you weren't that far behind the Nats. You're obviously getting involved in some preference swap deals with Labor and others. Who else are you looking to partner up with to try and claim the seat from the Nats?
Look, there's some discussions going on, obviously, with Rob at that higher level than me, certainly at the moment. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on. But at the end of the day, we can only give guidelines on how to vote. At the end of the day, it's free choice, and they vote for who they want to. And if they just want to vote one for me, that's great.
Now, what about what the coal industry is doing to the landscape in the Upper Hunter? Malcolm Turnbull points people to look at Google Earth. You can see it, massive scars on the landscape. What about the rehabilitation of those mine sites once mining is done?
Look, certainly there is, obviously it does do some damage to our environment while they're mining, but certainly there's strict guidelines around the environment and how they regenerate the landscape. And if you actually visit some of the regenerated land in the Hunter, most of them you actually can't tell whether they're regenerated or they're actually natural. So, you would like to think that our regulations that are in place and the rules around coal mining and regeneration will bring our landscape back to what it was. And looking at the voids, look, you know, I think there's certainly things we can do there, but let's have a look at that and look at what that diversity looks like. Look at opportunities. I mean, it's been done in other countries. Let's see if we can do something like that here. Coal's going to be around for a long time yet, but it's certainly something to consider.